The Necropolis. Within the halls of the dead, your former masters await you. In the end, you must emerge victorious, or all your struggles will have been for naught. Hey everybody, this is BMS here, and welcome back to Let's Play Hexen 64. Just a quick point that I need to make before we get too into things right off the bat here. I have foregone the blind portion of the run because I wasn't really happy with the way that was turning out. So I have done a practice run. This is still live commentary for whatever that's worth, but I have done a practice run, so I should know, you know, kind of what the hell I'm supposed to do now, and it should improve the pace of the LP and everything like that. I realize that this is the last hub, so it's a little late in the game to be changing things up, but hopefully this will make it go a little more smoothly than it has been. Anyway, as I mentioned before, this is the last hub, the Necropolis. And as far as hubs go, the hubs have gone, this is actually one of the more straightforward ones in the game. In fact, it's a lot simpler and less complicated than even the 7 Portals was. I mean, there's no real puzzle elements to it. By that I mean you don't have to hit any switches, you don't have to go into one level and then back to another and then back to that level. Nothing like that. The main gimmick of this hub here is that there are, aside from the bonus level and the final level, which is just the battle with Korax, there are 3 levels that you have to go to, and you have to collect a relic from each level. Doesn't matter what order you go to them in. Once you go into a level, you can beat it on your first try, you don't have to go back. So like I say, really simple, really straightforward. In fact, the hardest part of this hub is probably right here, because as you can see, we're introduced to a new enemy, the Reaver. And these guys are real bastards. I hate these things more than anything else in the game. Without a doubt. I mean, bar none, these top the list on the asshole meter. And you can see why. Number one, they're about as strong as an Etten in terms of how much life they have, so one hammer is more than enough to take one down. But the thing with the Reavers is that, well, 3 things really. They can fly, which pretty much nullifies the fighter's melee weapons, such as his fists or his axe. So you have to use the hammer or his sword on him, which don't use the sword. That's a waste of mana on one Reaver. Even though there are a lot of them, still, your hammer is your best bet. If it will auto-aim properly, which this one doesn't seem to want to do. And yeah, that's where the problem lies mostly, is that their main attack is their fireball, which is comparable to a Slaughter's fireball in terms of damage it does. It may be a little stronger, so yeah, you don't want to get hit, as you can see. But that means you want to take them out from a distance, which the hammers fly so slow that a lot of the time they'll get out of the way and you'll miss, so that's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with those guys. But there's, by the way, the main puzzle of the element. This leads to the final level. Those 3 notches in the wall are the areas where you place the 3 relics. Anyway, back to the Reavers. They also have another attack where they, if you get close enough, they will make kind of a mad dash for you and latch on and start draining your life out. This also heals them in the process, so yeah, they've pretty much got an attack for all occasions here. Of course, the good thing about this hub is that, aside from the Etten that randomly teleport in, those are the only enemy that are in this hub. Now, you can kill them all if you want. On some of the easier difficulties, it's probably best just to run by them all because they don't do that much damage, and it's really a waste of time to kill them. But on the hardest one, you can get swarmed pretty easily and they will kill you that way. So you need to go through and you need to kill them all. I know it's a tedious process, as you can see here, but yeah. And the way it works is that they come in waves, and there's only 3 waves throughout the entire hub. Once you defeat all 3 waves, then they're gone for good. But in order to do that, you have to go through the entire hub, and they'll pop up as you go along. And once you make it through the entire hub and kill everything in there, that's 1 wave. Then you go back to the start, lather, rinse, repeat 2 more times, and if you're still alive by then, hey, bonus. You've killed all the Reavers, which is pretty much gives you free reign of this hub, which is what you want to do. Unfortunately, that does take quite a while, as you see here, because you don't just want to rush headlong into these guys. Like I say, they're really strong, and they will kill you quickly if you do that. Especially if they swarm, which they like to do. So you gotta kind of funnel them into these narrow hallways, passageways here, and take them one-on-one if you can. Your items don't really do much anything. do you any good here against these guys, aside from your healing items, of course. Your discs of repulsion, they might come in handy if you get in a tight spot, but not really. It's better to have a healing item selected instead of the disc, mainly because you will take damage. Now, see, the thing with this is that if you're playing as the cleric or the mage, your weapons are a little more adept at dealing with these guys, alright? Because, well, they have more ranged weapons, and here comes another group that's spawning here. This, by the way, that teleportal leads to the secret level of this hub, which this is kind of a unique secret level in that you have to enter it before you enter any other level, or else it will seal off and you can't go into it. Now, there's nothing really special in there, aside from a few armor upgrades, and it'll pretty much top out your mana and your healing items, but still it's noteworthy, I guess. We will be showing that off. But first I have to clear out all these reavers here, which I'm going to go ahead and do that, so I will cut out all the reaver slaughtering here. You understand the gist of what we have to do, and I will see you back after I've killed them all. Alright, we're about done with these guys. I think there's only one more left, and he's hiding out back there. Well, there's two more. Three more. Whoa. Okay, so there's a couple more than I expected, but I think I'll jump back in here. Whew, this has taken me about 10 minutes to wipe out all three waves, so it is a little time-consuming, but it'll be worth it because we won't be getting pelted in the back by those fireballs, which can really drain your health rather fast, as fireballs tend to do. Damn it, there's still one more. Okay. Sneaky, sneaky little bastard. But he should be it if we can hit him. See, that's the problem with the hammer. It just moves so slow that it's really hard to hit him with. But anyway, once you're done with that, there are a lot of there's a lot of mana, a lot of quartz blast flying around. Go replenish your shit, because you're going to need it for the secret level. Well, not really the secret level, but the three main levels of the hub. You will need as many healing items as possible because, well, it's kind of complicated and kind of rough. Anyway, with that, let's head on into the secret level, the Vivarium. After we save, of course, because I don't want to go through all the reaver slaughtering again. The Vivarium. Valuable items in the struggle for life are available to those whose aim is true. But once you move on, there is no turning back. Okay, so this is the secret level of the hub, and that should not have opened there. That is a glitch that happens every now and then. The splash damage from one of the enemy's fireballs will actually hit the opposite side of this wall and open it up. Normally you have to come in here as a pig through a secret passage, which as soon as we're done killing everything off here, I'll show that off. And you have to open it from the other side, but whatever. The glitch actually helps us out because, as you can see, there's a lot of crap flying around here, and it's kind of hard to dodge it in that tight area up there, so I guess I better count my blessings while I can. Get as far to the back of the room as possible, and you should be able to kind of take them out and be able to dodge their shit that they're shooting at you with, well, relative ease. There's a lot of healing items and everything in here, so just be careful, and you should survive. You should, is the key word there. Also, forgive the lag. It's kind of overloading the emulator here. There's a lot of stuff going on, as you can see. Those Chaos Serpents, I'm not certain how they got down because they were on the upper level, but it doesn't matter. It just means that they're within range of our deadly hammer. So let's go ahead and take these guys out, and then we will carry on from there. As you can see, this is pretty much the item cache of the secret level. That was the whole point of it anyway, I mean, you've got all those armor upgrades, a lot of mana, a lot of health. That's pretty much the only reason you should come in here, which, on a normal playthrough, I don't think I'd even bother with this, because you saw how I was doing before I even went into the level. I was doing alright on items and everything, so it's kind of if you want to for completionist reasons, but yeah, go figure. I would let those guys fight, but apparently they want to take their time killing each other, and by God, I'm in a hurry, so let's ice them. If my hammer will auto-aim. Boy, this hammer is the worst when it comes to auto-aim. The mages and the clerics' weapons have a lot better auto-aim functionality than the stupid hammer. Although I guess I shouldn't complain, because Quietus is even worse than the hammer, but still. By God, I'm going to complain, because I can. Be careful of the randomly teleporting Etten. There is mana in those center crushing ceiling type deals there, but like I say, with the cache that we've got behind the wall, we don't really need to go in there. Normally the spikes kill all these Chaos Serpents that are in there, but every now and then one will manage to avoid it. Anywho, this is how we need to do this. You simply push on this wall to open it up. I think we encountered one of those in the Heresiarch Seminary, actually, one of those push-to-open doors. Like I say, this was one of the first games that actually used that kind of technology, I guess you'd say. A pivoting door. Yeah, there you go. Some technology. But yeah, this is the first game that actually utilized that to any degree. Even if it was only about 3 times, but still. They used it first, fuckers. Go up here and kill these guys. Really it's just a short, simple level that's only meant to stock you up on items for your main trek through the hub. It's not really that bad once you get through the initial wave of monsters that come here. Of course, you lower that by hitting it with a weapon. Took me a long damn time to figure that out. Thought you had to jump on those statues, but you can actually get up here that way with the fighter by jumping on those statues, but that's a lot harder than it has any right to be. You can see back there is the end to the hub, but we don't want to go in there yet. First we want to kill everything we can, because we don't want anything shooting at us from behind. But I still need to show off the normal way that you open that huge area with all the items in there. Of course, there is a porculator back here, which I will be showing that off, probably the final level, because there's a lot of enemies there. Anyway, go here, grab our stuff, see where is that? Why is he not picking up the hell? There we go. Sometimes he has trouble picking up the crystal vials, but we'll get it. Anyway, you remember the side areas here where it shoots out all that stuff? That little tunnel right there, that's where we come out at. Well, anyway, we need to go in here, and it will eventually, it's random, but it will shoot out a porculator shot at us. But we need to get turned into a pig. So let's wait for that to happen, and we'll go from there. You can see where this is going. Once we get turned into a pig, we run into that little vent shaft. There we go. Oh, great. Pig versus the Etten. Who will win? Anyway, go into this little vent shaft here. It'll lead you around. Blah, blah, blah. Back here. Wait for yourself to transform back into human form, and then you can hit the back side of that wall, and that'll make it open up. For shits and giggles, I am going to tackle the Etten with the pig. Should work. Hit and run tactic always works with this. Although you gotta be careful, because I think only one hit from the Etten will kill the pig, so it's a daunting task. Oh, bitchin', I actually did it. Alright, well, boy, you sure do stay in the pig form a long time. You should transform back any time. Now, there we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab all our armor upgrades, replenish our mana there, and then we can finally head out and tackle the main portion of the hub. Keep in mind, like I said before, that if you do not enter the secret level before you enter any other area of the hub, it will seal itself off, which it's going to seal itself off once we exit anyway, but still. If you don't enter it first, you'll never be able to get in there. Here we go. Okay, now with that out of the way, we're going to start tackling the normal levels of the hub. Each one of these is a tomb. The 3 masters, Zedek, Menelker, and what was his name? Productus. The ones from the opening cutscene, the masters, the same character classes. Yeah, that you can pick from. Yeah, well, they're the masters of them. And those are who we have to fight now. Each tomb is devoted to, well, one of the enemy, one of the masters, of course. The area leading up to the tomb is generally filled with enemies, so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go around to all 3 tombs and kill all the enemies that are in there, so we can actually just run back and forth once we get started here. Of course, if I could actually throw that through the window there, that would be really handy, kind of like that. There is some There's quite a few brown Chaos Serpents down there, and that's what I'm trying to do here, but the fighter doesn't seem to want to cooperate with his flechette throwing ability there. So we'll just take the slow-moving elevator all the way down to the bottom, and we'll take them out on their level. Try to stay away from the doors because they can shoot in, and yeah, you can't really do anything about it. Hopefully that'll take a couple of them out. Of course, we have to wait for this fucking elevator again, but still, it's worth it if it takes one out. Hit the switch, and down we go once more. And it didn't get any of them. Excellent, it just woke them up. How nice. Well, fine. So we can mosey our way out here. Use what you can for cover. You have to be careful because sometimes they'll walk around and come up behind you, and that's very bad, as you can imagine. Generally try to go for the corner first, like this. That's what I was throwing those flechettes out the window for, to kill that one there. Give us access to this corner, and then we can work our way up from there. Use the same duck and cover strategy. Jump out, shoot, duck for cover. It works. It's cheap, but it works. Should be one in here? Yes, indeedy. Take him out with the axe. Don't want to waste all our green mana on these guys. Excellent. And I believe that's it. That switch right there lowers the elevator back down. And we go up here to a switch that opens the portal to Productus's tomb. Right there. But we don't want to do that right now. We're going to go in order from Zedek to Productus to Menelker. But first we need to, like I say, clear out the entrances to all their tombs. So we're done with Productus. One down, two to go. I believe Menelker's tomb is just around the corner. They're all really centralized, really. You can't hardly get lost here. I mean, even if you do forget where something's at, it's such a small hub area that you can find it really easy, so there's really no getting lost here. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Menelker's tomb, right next door. Replenish our flechettes, though, because we did use quite a few. Anyway. Now, the main enemy filling up Productus's tomb was the brown Chaos Serpents. Here it's the Dark Bishops, because he is a mage. Makes sense, right? Of course it does. Of course, probably the biggest problem with this is having an Etten spawn right behind you. They like to do that in this hub, so be warned. Good thing about these tombs is that they do have a small door, so it's easy to funnel the enemies in towards you and dodge their attacks, especially these Dark Bishops. Anyway, take the last one out in here. I believe there's only one more. Excellent. And there we go. The big door, open it up. Oh! The portal has been sealed. The gimmick of this little area, you have to pull the right switch. If you pull the wrong one, that happens. The wall opens up and a couple bishops come out. Gnarly. I think it's really random which switch is actually the right one too, so... yeah. It's not like you can memorize which switch is the proper one to pull. But it's not that bad because it's only two bishops. And besides, there's health in each alcove that opens, so... yeah. Probably a good idea to open them all anyway, which is what we're going to do. Although I would like to get the right one before I go through them all. You know, just to say that I actually pulled the right switch before I had to... now you get it. Anyway. I actually opened up 4 of them there, okay. And with only 2 switches to go, well, 3, I guess. Really, wow, damn. I guess it's gonna wait until the last one to give me the right switch. That works. Why not? There we go. There are some bishops back there, but yeah, the door kills them pretty easily. Just like the door damaged us in the Castle of Grief, it does the same thing to the bishops. And a Crater of Might, some mana back there. Replenish our health here, and then we're off to Zedek's tomb, which we will be going into after we clear it out, because that's the first tomb on the list. Zedek is also the fighter class enemy, so Yeah, it's pretty much like we're going to be fighting ourselves. Oh, a lot of Etten have spawned here. The spawn rate for the Etten in this hub is really high, I think. Anyway, take them out. Yeah, there we go. Definitely a high spawn rate for the Etten. Oh, as you can see there, the door is barred from the inside. That leads to the secret level. It does that if you enter any level aside from that. We've gone over this before, you know. Just make sure you go into the secret level if you want to before you do anything else in the hub. And gather up what mana we can because we are kind of running low on our green. And Zedek's tomb is filled with centaurs. Naturally, although the good thing is that these aren't slaughters, so they don't shoot anything at us. There's just a lot of them. But we can funnel them up in this doorway easy enough, so that's not a problem. Just make sure you don't get flanked by an Etten. Taking all of them out, so that shouldn't be a problem here, but you never know. Those Etten are sneaky, as we've come to learn. And there are a lot of centaurs in here, and I hope you're ready to face more, because that's the only enemy that shows up in Zedek's tomb. It's just centaurs and slaughters. That's not all of them either. Yeah. Once we get rid of all these guys, that will be all the non-Etten enemies of the hub. And then we can just run back and forth between the levels without much fear of getting pummeled to death. Always a nice thing. I don't think there's anything in there. Oh yeah, there's crystal vials in here. That's always nice, replenish our health. That is one thing about this hub, it's really generous with its healing items and the mana. As you can see, they're all clustered up in areas here. Yeah, you really shouldn't run low on anything. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's... oh, damn. I was going to hunt up some mana here, but let's deal with the Etten first. Nah, that's enough. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's head to our first tomb. Zedek's tomb. Only those who know the warrior's code are worthy of facing Zedek, Marshal of the Legion, in personal combat. Alright, Zedek's tomb. There's only one new enemy in here, and he is the boss, Zedek himself. But before we can get to him, we have to deal with an army of slaughters and centaurs. Oh, what fun. The good thing about this area is that it's a lot of tight passageways, so it's pretty easy to funnel them down. Their numbers they can't really swarm you unless you run right into the middle of them. Yeah, that should be an obvious sign that that's a gnarly trap. Yeah, pretty bad. Unfortunately, aside from those two that were stuck in there, none of the other enemies are dumb enough to actually walk into the thing, including the boss himself, so don't even try that trick. It doesn't work. Believe me, I tried. Anyway, first thing you want to do, run through here. There's pretty much nowhere else you can go, so you're forced to run into here. These are all normal centaurs, by the way, inside this room, so no worries about getting shot. Take all them out first. You're going to want to take every enemy out here anyway, as you come across them, because you can really get swarmed if you don't, especially when you fight the boss, and that is a very bad thing. The fighter probably has the most trouble with the three bosses of this hub here, because, I don't know, his ranged weapons just they don't heat seek, they don't seek out the enemy. It's very bad. Anyway, hit this switch and that will open up a new area out here. Those three gray squares on the wall, we'll be coming back to those later. Those actually are part of the puzzle of this level. It's a simple puzzle, don't worry. Can we ice them? Should be a couple more. Take note that behind each one of those pictures of Korax there is a room, and in there is a couple of slaughters, so you're going to want to be careful of that. They will drop down when you hit the switch over to our right, but first you want to take out everything else that you can. The less amount of enemies you have to deal with, the better. If that slaughter would come over here, I could take him out with my hammer, but there we go. I was wondering if he was just going to wait over there for me or what, but we got him. Man, there are a lot of them over here, too. This hub is very difficult. Mainly for that reason. Anyway, once you take all them out, then you can hit the switch. As soon as you hit the switch, run as fast as you can and get out of here. Because it's a lot easier to take out the slaughters or the centaurs from here than it is in there. Of course, that switch opens up this area too. So we'll go ahead and take these guys out first. There you go. Yeah, I knew you were there. Stop shooting and come over here, I can get you with my axe. Kind of like the end there. Unbelievable. The tight corners of this area are pretty... they're kind of a blessing and a curse. They help the fighter out in that you can, well, find cover really easily, but his projectile weapon, like the hammer, has a tendency to hit the walls a lot here. Yeah, okay. Get their attention, run out here. Should follow us out. I say should, there we go. Okay. All of these are just normal centaurs, except for the ones in the center room, which we'll get to those in a bit. I don't think they saw us. Teleporting Etten. Fuck you. Wipe these guys out. It's not so much complicated, this level, it's just really tedious because you have to, like I say, you have to deal with all these enemies, but once you get the strategy down, it's not that bad. The strategy is duck for cover whenever you can, let them come to you. I knew you were in there. Should be the only one. Okay. Now these are slaughters, so be careful here. Get their attention. So one come out there. It's just an Etten. Alright, that's no problem. There should be two more in there. And there is one more. And I got him. Excellent, excellent. Anyway, that's where we have to go to next. Those switches in there actually correspond to the 3 switches that we found in the first area there, but we'll get into that after we kill everything else here. There is a lot of mana inside here, and if for some reason you manage to miss some of the fighter's multi-weapon parts, all 3 of them are here in this level, which is true of all the other characters. Their multi-weapon parts, all of them are in their respective master's level, so that's great. Of course, if you have your multi-weapon assembled, they simply serve to replenish both types of mana. It's kind of like a combined mana pickup. Handy. Handy indeed. Okay, well, one more. Okay, now, one side down, one to go. I would use something else, but I'd kind of like to save my mana for the boss. So we're just going to play a game of fisticuffs with these guys. Not much to say about it other than, you know, just be careful. Watch out for Etten spawning behind you, because they'll never spawn in front of you. Always behind in this level. I don't know what it is, but they're ninjas. Is that it? There's one more. There's always one more. If you look close, by the way, I don't think I went over this, but if you look close at the shield of the centaur, the slaughter, there's a slight difference between the two. The slaughter's shield is a little bit darker than the centaur's, which, of course, if you're that close to notice that difference, then you're way too close to begin with, but there is a difference between the two. As ever slight as it may be. Come on. How dare you. Anyway, take him out. There was mesh armor back there. I'd like to get rid of all these enemies before I pump up my armor class. Should only be 2 more rooms of them, though. Come on, there you go, good boy. Any more in here? Yes, indeedy dandy. One more, two more. One more, two more. And that is the last of the centaurs and slaughters of the level. Breathe a sigh of relief. Now comes the fun part. We actually have to deal with the boss. But first we have to go and unlock his room. And to do that, there's a certain puzzle that we have to go through here. First I'm going to collect and stock up on the mana, all that I can. The thing about this guy, the boss of this level, Zedek, if you're playing as the cleric or the mage, he's really easy because you have ranged attacks that'll seek him out. But with the fighter, you kind of have to get close for your attacks to work, but he has quietus, so getting close is a bad idea. And I'll get into that once we get up there to him. Go ahead and stock up on all our health now. And then we can finally go to work on the puzzle. Well, I thought that would trigger the trap, but it didn't. Anyway, grab the item. And in here, you notice 3 gray squares back there. What you need to do is hit this switch here. What I'm going to do now is select the items for the boss. And temp save, because I don't want to have to select them again. Anyway, hit the switch. Memorize what comes up. Only 3 symbols. Sun, moon, or star. It's totally random. Just memorize what order they are. And you can guess where this is going. Run back to the 3 squares in here and input the same pattern. Of course, once you enter, the room will seal and the ceiling will start to come down. So you have to enter it kind of fast. So star, moon, and I believe star. There is a glitch where this won't work every now and then, which is kind of like that. If you input it too fast, I think it really screws everything up. So you have to wait a while. Just make sure you wait like a second between each symbol that you put in, or else it'll glitch up and it won't accept it for some reason. I don't know, it's really weird. Moon, star, come on, come on, come on. Don't want to have to use a chaos device. There we go. It's really weird. I don't understand why it glitches up if you input the code too fast, but it does. Anyway, there's Zedek, copy of the fighter. If you get behind him, he won't notice you at first, but that's... You could try to get an early swipe with quietus, but he's got a one-hit kill because he uses quietus too. Major bummer. And I should have saved after I opened up his room, but whatever. Now the thing about this is that, like I say, you have to get close to him for your weapons to work, because he's really fast. But if you use your discs of repulsion, not only will it bounce away his projectiles, but it'll also make your projectiles fly up and over his head. So it's really tough for the fighter, actually. You want to stay far away, which the only weapon that actually does any damage at distance is the hammer, because quietus, the spread pattern is incredible on it. But yeah, the hammer is pretty much your only viable option here, and that's kind of really hit and miss because he's so damn fast. I'm going to try something different here. I'm just going to chuck a bunch of flechettes in there at him and see what happens. If he comes out of this room, I'm going to run like hell, though. Yeah, there he is. Come on. Come on. You know, if all the flechettes would go in there, it would be good. Come on. Oh, bitch! Oh, I incinerated his ass. Excellent. Well, that was a lot... Okay, so much for using any of your weapons. Just use your flechettes. That works. Yeah. All that time planning a proper strategy, and it just came down to chucking a few grenades in at him. How simple. Anyway, okay. Once you're done with that, be sure to pick up the relic behind him. If you forget that, you'll have to come back. You don't have to beat him again, but still. Yeah. He has a low amount of health. He only has 500 health, as you saw from the little diagram, but still. It's kind of odd. Figured he'd have a lot more health than that, but whatever. In fact, all 3 masters only have 500 health. It's just that their damage, the weapons that they use are their respective character classes' multi-part weapons, so that's what you gotta watch out for. But anyway, now that we're done with that, let us replenish our mana, what we can here. There should be some green laying around here. Oh, that'll work. Segment of quietus. believe that works? Yeah, we're full on mana. Excellent day. Anywho, let's go back and grab our mesh armor. And then we will head back to the hub and head into the next tomb.